Say the words ticket scalper, and you probably imagine some sketchy guy in the corner coming out of the shadows. In Minnesota, scalping's been perfectly legal for the last decade, but it's hardly a perfect system. When it comes to the hottest shows, the regular fan is up against a $25 billion industry that carefully controls supply even as it pumps up demand, leaving consumers to face the music. For the biggest shows, there needs to be a whiff of desperation, a drumbeat of mild panic.
I feel like I'm racing all the robots.
That makes us captive to our screens.
Refresh, refresh, refresh. Just can't ever get good tickets.
10 a.m., click refresh in my browser, all the tickets are sold.
Michael Bishop is a concert super fan. He went to 82 shows last year, from Pink to Bruno Mars. For Justin Timberlake, he even joined the fan club, but couldn't get a ticket for pre-sale or regular sale. For the hottest shows, he's always frozen out.
Since I've lived in Minneapolis, I haven't been able to get tickets to one show on the primary market.
For Lady Gaga last December, it was cheaper to fly to Denver, where scalping is illegal.
I got a round-trip ticket on Sun Country for $75.
Cheaper for you to see Lady Gaga in Denver
Yeah.
than here in Minneapolis where you live.
Yep.
That's insane.
Yeah.
For Timberlake? Yeah, crazy.
Michael Nowakowski is the owner of Ticket King, one of a dozen brokers who buy and sell tickets in the so-called secondary market. In other words, scalpers. He says JT Fever from Super Bowl 52 turned into a frenzy for his first show, an almost instant sellout.
Justin Timberlake almost seemed like there were 0 tickets available.
But just as quickly, there were more than 1,000 tickets for resale in the secondary market at huge markup. Suddenly, that floor ticket with a face value of $178 was now as much as $268. Even that $52 nosebleed seat was now $125. And seats closest to the stage, what promoters call the golden circle, were being sold as VIP tickets for as much as $8,000. A second Timberlake show was announced that afternoon.
We're professionals. This is what we do. And we had a hard time getting tickets.
Ticket King scoops up seats by having their staff go online, especially during pre-sale. But other brokers use computer programs known as bots that flood the system and gobble up the best seats while you keep hitting refresh. A recent investigation by New York's Attorney General analyzing the biggest concerts there called it a fixed game and found 20 to 30% of the best seats will be sold on the secondary market, where consumers will pay on average 49% more. But Nowakowski says brokers are hardly the only players.
Instead, it's kind of a cat and mouse game where, a segment of the tickets are just kind of held back for them to do that type of thing.
That New York investigation also found promoters share the blame by carefully calibrating supply. Less than half the tickets, 46%, are reserved for the general public. 16% are holds for industry insiders, promoters, and corporate sponsors. 38% are pre-sale for credit card holders or fan club members. With some performers like Jay-Z, Timberlake, and Coldplay, up to 70% of the tickets are held for pre-sale.
And it just comes down to transparency. Just tell people the truth.
It's a public venue, right? Taxpayers paid for that place along with every other stadium around. And we don't really know how many tickets go on sale at any one moment, right? Do we?
No, no.
You don't know.
We have no idea.
The Minnesota Wild operate Xcel Energy Center, and for concerts, they have an exclusive contract with the promoter, Live Nation, which just happens to own Ticketmaster. And Ticketmaster has now become a huge player itself in the secondary market they once criticized, making $1.2 billion last year from reselling tickets. To see how they make that money, take a look at Section 116 of the sold-out Timberlake show on Ticketmaster's website. The pink dots are resales that Ticketmaster will collect more than $150 in transaction fees for. And those blue dots, those are so-called platinum tickets. Indistinguishable from the seats right next to them, Ticketmaster admits they are, quote, dynamically priced to go up and down. It's just another way for Ticketmaster to get their own slice of the secondary market.
Tickets for Justin Timberlake's second show go on sale in about 20 minutes, but already online, the brokers have tickets for sale as much as $8,000. In fact, Ticketmaster already has tickets for sale on the secondary market as much as $9,000 in the second row.
That single release date is trying to create a frenzy. It's trying to get everybody to rush at the same time. It's trying to get publicity.
Professor Pascal Cordy is an expert on the economics of ticket pricing. The truth, he says, is counterintuitive. Some concert tickets are just too cheap to begin with.
I think it's undeniable that there are some events for which their underpricing plays a role. For example, Hamilton or Ed Sheeran.
There's some psychology at work here. No artist wants to be labeled as greedy and suffer a backlash like Barbra Streisand did a few years ago. And artists like the late Tom Petty can even build loyalty by keeping prices low. Ironically, Petty, who also played smaller venues, turned out to be a scalper's dream. The classic case study is the Super Bowl, where the face value of the ticket is so artificially low, it drives up the secondary market.
Even though the printed price on the tickets looks very high, it's still not as much as you could get and as the prices you see on the secondary market.
The sports leagues have all said if you can't beat them, join them, and now have their own secondary ticket sites, which they say reduces fraud. The Vikings through Ticketmaster, the Twins partnering with StubHub, the Wolves have flash tickets and say 86% of their fans now use their smartphone to get in. That's what U2 and Bruce Springsteen did for their most recent shows. But lobbying groups like the National Association for Ticket Brokers and Fan Freedom argue that paperless tickets only hurt consumers.
Tickets? If my friend buys me a ticket to a concert, I won't be able to get in without them because my ticket is locked to their credit card. What was wrong with regular tickets anyway?
The free market seems to be working.
State Rep Joe Hoppe says lawmakers are essentially on the sidelines, caught between the brokers, the promoters, and the consumer.
There's no law requiring the brokers to be licensed in Minnesota.
I don't think there is.
No law saying a promoter can't hold back tickets.
Nope.
And there's no law regarding fees. Some people see them as exorbitant.
There's none. I think it's one of those things where no one really likes it, but no one hates it enough to really complain about it right now.
Which is the ironic thing about our man in the woods, Justin Timberlake. After the desperation for the first show, the second got a lukewarm reception. Only a dozen or so fans even showed up at the box office for the general sale. And by then, even the cheap seats had been gobbled up.
The only tickets available were the super expensive ones.
Exactly.
And then Friday night, large blocks of those Blue Dot Platinum tickets were suddenly on the market for Timberlake's second show, listed by Ticketmaster at pretty close to face value. A whiff of desperation, it seems, can cut both ways.
The average fan just can't even get a ticket. Like if you're an average fan, it's not even that you can't just get the very best ticket. You can't get a ticket.
It's ridiculous. The whole point of having concerts is so fans can see their favorite entertainers, but nobody can afford $1,600 for a ticket.
Live Nation and Ticketmaster never responded to our request for comment, which is too bad because they're actually doing some things to fight this problem, like their verified fan presale program, where fans can register for tickets ahead of the brokers. There's also been some legislation at the federal level. As President Obama was leaving office, he signed the BOTS Act, short for Better Online Ticketing Sales. That law essentially made it illegal for bots to jam up computer systems and scarf up tickets. The problem is the Federal Trade Commission isn't enforcing that law, and it really does have to be at the federal level, guys, because these bots can operate from anywhere in the country.
Yeah, this is going to spark a lot of conversation, for sure. Okay, so walk me through this. Some tickets are available on sites before the actual concert goes on sale. How's that happening?
I think that may be the most interesting thing of all. That is a completely speculative market. Basically, they are anticipating that people will want tickets, let's say in Section 116. They will go ahead and say, we have those tickets. They don't, and if they can't deliver those tickets for the customer, they have in the fine print that or a comparable ticket. But literally, they're saying they have tickets before they actually have them.
Well, I guess they know what they're doing, but you talked about service charges on these tickets as well. So what do they range?
And they can range from 11 to 21%. Some people have a real problem with that because you say 21%, what are you really charging me for? All this is done electronically. You're even printing out the ticket a lot of times.
Right.
You know, there's no rationale behind some of those charges. And some lawmakers, not in Minnesota, elsewhere, really want to get a handle on that. They just think it's exorbitant. And think about, you know, on the secondary market for Ticketmaster, they're not only charging you a fee on the first time for the primary ticket, they're charging twice on the secondary market. So that's why they love the secondary market. It's why they've made $1 billion off of it.
Yeah.
Well, hopefully a lot of lawmakers are watching and maybe they can do something about it.
I just don't think there's the momentum. No, there hasn't been a big outrage like there was 10 years ago for Miley Cyrus. Remember that?
Right.
Huge outrage. People got really invested in the issue. We need to have a blow up like that before we probably see anything on the legislature.
We need lawmakers to start buying tickets, or at least
Yeah.
trying.
They need to go to more shows. There you go.
People can't afford this. All right.
Yeah,
Thanks, Tom.
crazy. Thanks, Tom.